Hi everyone, good day and good day to you, sir. My name is Engin Cadet Perez, and our topic for today is global governance. So, what is global governance with the integration of COVID-19 pandemic? But before that, we will explain about what is global governance. So, global governance is a system of rules, institution, and process that allows countries to work together on issues that affect multiple countries. These are some issues: economic development, trade, human rights, peace and security, and environmental protection. Global governance is clearly not a world government. Indeed, it is better viewed as a sum of governance process operating in the absence of world government. There is no world government to coordinate facilities, cooperation among all actors to deal with threats and challenges. So here's some example. Some of prime example of global governance problem that the world are facing throughout the years and trying to solve it is climate change. But we all know we can't solve it, right? So the best thing to do is adapt and reduce. By coordinating efforts to reduce greenhouse gases emission and to adapt to its impact, countries can mitigate the devastating effect on the planet, requiring global collaboration and coordinate policies across the nation.
Governance in the integration of the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has provided a stark illustration of the need for effective global governance. The pandemic is a global issue that requires coordinated international action. Here's how the COVID-19 pandemic has shaped global governance. First, international cooperation and coordination. The World Health Organization, or WHO, played a central role in providing leadership and coordinating global effort. However, there were challenges in terms of timely data sharing, resources allocation, and ensuring that all countries in equal access to necessary resources like vaccine. Second, health diplomacy. The pandemic saw an increase in health diplomacy, where nations, organizations, and international bodies work together to address the health crisis. However, there were also tensions as some countries prioritize their own citizens' needs over global solidarity. Third, global supply chain and economic impact. The pandemic disrupted global supply chains, revealing economic vulnerabilities. Global governance focused on creating recovery plans, providing financial aid to developed countries, and leveraging institutions like the IMF and the World Bank to stabilize economies. Fourth, the role of technology. Technology play a key role in tracking the virus, developing vaccine, and managing public health responses. Digital tools became crucial for contact tracing, vaccine distribution, and data management and global governance effort. Fifth, equity and access. The pandemic highlighted disparities in access to vaccine and resources, with wealthier nations having more access. Initiatives like COVAX were stabilized to address these inequalities, but challenges in fair distribution persisted. 6. Reform and future challenges. The pandemic sparked discussion on reforming global governance to better respond to future health crises. There is a push to strengthen health frameworks, improve coordination, and tackle global inequalities. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the necessity of enhanced global governance to tackle complex, cross-border challenges. While there were notable efforts and successes in certain areas, it has also highlighted significant gaps that need to be addressed for future crises.
Effects of globalization on governments. Globalization impacts governments by increasing interdependence among nations, which can enhance cooperation on global issues like climate change. However, it can also constrain national sovereignty, limiting governments' ability to control their economies and implement independent policies. Positive effect of globalization on governments. Number one, autonomy refers to the degree of self-governance and independence that a government maintains in the face of global influence. Globalization can challenge national autonomy in several ways. Number two, economic dependence. Countries may become reliant on global markets, and foreign investment which can limit their ability to make independent economic decisions. 3. Policy constraints. International agreements and organizations can impose regulations and standards that restrict a government's ability to legislate according to its own priorities. 4. Cultural influence. The spread of global cultural and values can undermine local traditions and governance practices, leading to a loss of cultural autonomy.
So, in this topic, we're going to identify the institutions that govern international relations. First, we have the United Nations, or UN, facilitates international cooperations on peace, security, human rights, and sustainable development. Next is World Trade Organization, or WTO, oversees global trade rules and resolves trade disputes to encourage free and fair trade. Next is International Monetary Funds, or IMF, provides financial assistance and policy advice to stabilize economies and foster global economic stability. Next is World Bank, finances development projects to reduce poverty and supports economic growth in developing nations. The next is International Criminal Court, or ICC. It addresses international justice by prosecuting crimes such as genocide and war crimes. Next is G7 and G20, forums for major economics to discuss and coordinate responses to global economic challenges. So next is World Health Organization, or WHO, coordinates international health efforts, particularly during pandemics and public health crises. Next is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, or UNESCO, promotes global collaboration in education, science, and culture. Next is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD, promotes policies that improves economic and social well-being globally. So the next is regional organizations. First, we have the European Union, or EU, promotes regional integration and free movement of goods, service, and people within Europe. Second is African Union, or AU, encourages economic integration and political stability in Africa. Last is Association of Southeast Asian Nation, or ASEAN, focuses on economic cooperation and cultural exchange in Southeast Asia. So these institutions play critical roles in shaping globalization by fostering international cooperation, addressing global challenges, and managing interconnected economic, social, and political systems.
Internationalism and globalism are related concepts, but they differ in focus and approach to how nations or the world interact. Internationalism definition refers to the cooperation between sovereign nations while maintaining their individuals' identities and autonomy. Focus promotes collaboration on shared issues such as trade, security, human rights, and environmental concerns. Key characteristic emphasizes the importance of nation-states as a primary actors in a global affairs. Support mutual respect for culture, political, and economic differences, often linked to international organizations like the United Nations or treaties between specific nations. Example, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, where countries work together while retaining national sovereignty. Globalism definition advocates for a more interconnected and integrated world, often transcending national boundaries in favor of global systems and institutions where economic, political, and cultural exchanges are not constrained by national borders. Key characteristics prioritize global integration over national interests, view the world as a single interconnected system, often associated with globalization, free trade, and supranational governance. Example, the rise of multinational corporations and global supply chains which operate beyond the limits of national borders.
The United Nations is an international organization established in 1945 to promote global peace, security, and cooperation. Its roles and functions are broad, covering various aspects of international relations and global development. The first example is maintaining international peace and security. It's one of the main purposes of the United Nations. It focuses on preventing wars, resolving conflicts, and ensuring stability among nations to protect lives and promote global cooperations. The second example is human rights, helping people understand and enjoy their basic rights and freedoms. These rights include things like the right to live safely, to be treated equally, to speak freely, and to get an education. So the third example is fostering economic development, means helping countries grow and improve their economies to create better lives for their people. It involves increasing jobs, income, and opportunities as well as reducing poverty and inequality. Economic development focusing on making a country stronger and more sustainable over time. The fourth example is providing humanitarian assistance, giving help and support to people who are suffering because of natural disasters, wars, or other emergencies. The goal is to save lives, reduce suffering, and help people recover from difficult situations. The fifth example is upholding international law, making sure that countries, organizations, and individuals follow the rules and agreements that guide how they interact with each other. This law helps maintain peace, protect human rights, and ensure justice across the world. The sixth example is addressing global challenges, means finding solutions to problems that affect people all over the world. These challenges are often big and complex, requiring countries to work together to solve them. The seventh example is promoting social progress and cultural cooperation, means improving people's quality of life while encouraging respect and understanding between different cultures. It involves helping societies become more fair, equal, and united. The last example is acting as a forum for global dialogue, means providing a platform where countries can meet, discuss, and solve the global problems together. It allows nations to share ideas, address conflicts, and cooperate on issues that affect everyone, like peace, climate change, and development.
Primary challenge of global governance in the 21st century is balancing that need for collective action on transnational issues such as climate change, security, and economic inequality with the sovereignty in diverse priorities of individual nations. Additional addressing that growing influence of non-state actors and technological disruption further complicated traditional governance structure. So the first is globalization and interdependence. Increase in economic, social, and political interdependence has created a need for coordinate international response. However, aligning diverse national interests with global priorities remains difficult. So the second is geopolitical rivalries. Rising tension between major powers such as US, China, and Russia often hinder comparative approach to global challenge, leading to fragment or ineffective governance. So the third is climate change, environmental degradation. Coordinating international effort to address climate change is hampered by disparities in national commitment, economic priorities, and resource capacity. So the fourth is technological advancement and cybersecurity. Rapid technological innovation has created challenges related to governance of cyberspace data privacy, artificial intelligence, and the spread of disinformation. So number five is weakening multilateral institutions. Organizations like the United Nations and World Trade Organization face criticism over the efficiency, lack of representativeness, and declining trust, reducing their ability to manage global issue. Is global inequality. Disparities between nations and within society exacerbate tension, making it harder to create equitable policy in areas such as trade, healthcare, and resource distribution. Number 7, migration and displacement. The increasing number of refugees and migrants due to conflict, poverty, and climate change create a need for international cooperation, which is often lacking.
Identify the challenges of global governance in the 21st century. Example, complex interdependence. Countries are more interconnected than ever, making it difficult to address the global issue like climate change, pandemic, and terrorism. This problem to require to coordinate the response across nations, but differing national interests can complicate the consensus. Next is the sovereignty versus global responsibility. Many nations prioritize their sovereignty over global commitments, leading to resistance against international agreements. This is evident in areas like climate action, where some countries may prioritize economic growth over environmental concern. The next one is the rise of populism and nationalism. The resurgence of populist and the nationalist movement in the various countries often undermines international cooperation. This movement can lead to isolationist policy and hinder collaborative effort on global issues. And next one is a technological distribution. Advance in the technology, including cyber threat and misinformation, pose new challenge for global governance. Regulating the technology while ensuring privacy and security is a complex task that requires international cooperation. Inequality, economic disparities both within and between countries can lead to social unrest and instability. Addressing the global inequality requires coordinated efforts that are often difficult to implement due to differing national priorities. Next is the global health crisis. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the weakness in global health governance, ensuring equitable access to healthcare and vaccine required to reduce international collaboration, which can be challenging to achieve. Environmental issue. Climate change and biodiversity loss require immediate and sustained global action. However, divergent economic interests and varying the levels of the commitment to environmental regulation to complicate the collective efforts. Next is the institutional limitation. Existing global institutions often struggle to adapt to the rapidly changing political and economic landscape. Reforming this institution better address contemporary challenges is an ongoing struggle.
I will be going to tackle is all about explain the relevance of the state amid globalization. Globalization has dramatically changed the world, creating a more interconnected system where economies, societies, and cultures are deeply intertwined. This raises the question, what is the role of the state in these new global landscapes? While some argue that globalization diminishes the state's power, others see it as a catalyst for a new and crucial role. The state remains vital in managing the complexities of globalization. It acts as a regulator, setting policies to balance the benefits of global integration with the need to protect domestic interests. So this includes, first is economic integration. States must navigate the challenges of international trade, investment, and competition, while ensuring fair treatment for their citizens and industries. Second is social inequalities. Globalization can exacerbate existing inequalities, creating a need for states to provide social safety, nets, education, and healthcare to address these disparities. And the last is national security. States must defend their borders, protect their citizens from transnational threats like terrorism, and ensure their sovereignty in the world where borders are increasingly porous.